Spartans! What is your profession?
Okay, so I put in a few more coats, to strengthen the piece, and now it's ready to be pulled out of the mold. So let's start by this. There we go. I might have to do a little more work on the edges, but came out eventually. All right, so now show you the big plus of using rebound. Just pull it out, roll it over, pull it out, and roll it over. And it just pops right out. And mutter of amazement, it actually came out nicely. Don't see any bubbles, defects, deformations. Looking pretty clean so far. Little tiny bubble defects. Yeah. Maybe a little cleaning up necessary, but so far, looking pretty good. And that's all there is to it. And your finished product. Now I'm going to age it with a little bit of shoe polish. Not now, a little later. Shoe polish is one of the ways you can age it and get some, basically get some darker hues into crevices and whatever, and give it that aged look. It actually makes it look a little more realistic. That's it. All this stuff, all this flashing, and get your trusty clipper out, and you just clip it right off. What I do with this one is, once I clip it clean, I will put something in here to fill out the back, and then put a black foam to and glue it on here to have like a something to sit it down on. Finishing on it, getting in a little aging in it. All right, this is the final part of the finishing of the piece after you've pulled it out of the mold. It just needs to be finished, and what I like to do is put a little shoe polish and then wipe it down, and that'll give it the difference you need, so that it can give that aging and give it a metallic sheen, give it a more authentic look to it. I'll just show you really quickly. I just use an ordinary shoe polish I got at the Dollar Tree, Dollarama. Again, it's just, the cheapest stuff. You don't really need good stuff. And a little bottle of alcohol. Now, what I use the alcohol for is the shoe polish, a little too solid, a little too clumpy, and when you want to brush it on, you want it to be a little more liquidy. So quick spritz of alcohol. And why alcohol? As alcohol will evaporate and remove itself from it and dry up faster. And it's just a little bit, and you see we'll just... And also, I use the same paintbrush until it becomes totally useless and toss it. Just using the same dedicated paintbrush for this particular thing. That way, there's less waste, and you can reuse the same paintbrush. Now, just get it all in there while it's wet before the alcohol evaporates. And the good thing about the spritzer, it'll only put a small amount every time. So if you want to, dampen the piece a little more, or if it's getting a little clumpy, give it a quick spritz, and there you go. Moving right along. It shouldn't dwell too long, and you shouldn't take too long or do a large portion of the piece. Just do it in sections, because you want to wipe it off relatively quickly if you want a good effect. Now what this is going to do is, let's get it in there. It's going to give it a more realistic look. And just get yourself a paper towel and wipe it down. And the alcohol started to dry out and leaving semi-dried shoe polish. But you see what's happened here now is, if I can get this really, is you've got that two-toned look, right? You've got the darker crevices and lines and whatever in detail. And then the protruding part of the detail pops out with a shinier looking surface. It's not really shinier. All you've done is given it a difference, a reference, so that your eye sees the two levels, the two tones, and goes, wow, that's really shiny. But it's really the same shine as there. It's just the illusion, which is what aging does, gives you the illusion that you need. Whereas this looks aged metallic. All right, so we're going to do the other side. That gives it a nicer shine, nicer look, a more deep metallic look, instead of that shiny plastic looking. And it's this is fine if you've got a very smooth surface and you want to give it a more chrome or polished metal finish, sure. But if you want the details to pop out and look realistic, you can't beat this kind of look. Now, I'm going to go in and do details here. And don't worry if it looks like it's really thick or, you're worried that you put too much. As long as you give yourself a chance to go in and wipe it off, and don't let the alcohol dry entirely or the shoe polish dry, you should be able to wipe it down. It's good to just give it a quick pass after with, especially high points, with a clean one, because that way you're not just pushing more of the stuff on top. Now here's where to touch up things that may be a little duller than I wanted them to be. What's called a metal paste. Or metal wax. It's just, not going to use this one. It's just metallic pieces that are in suspension of either wax or paste. And what you want to do is have a dedicated paintbrush for this particular thing. It's just easier. You'll see, you just rub it in there and it's already shining up. And what you want to do is remove the excess, because you're not interested in repainting it. You're only interested in hitting points that you think don't have the right metallic coloring, or that the shoe polish has dampened too much. Not too much, you know. You think of it as when you're dry brushing for pieces, if you know that technique, where you just put a little bit of material on your brush, like acrylic paint or whatever paint, and then you get rid of the majority of it, and then you just kind of dust it, so to speak. And that's what you really want to do. Just dust really, really high points, or points that you want it to be a little more shinier than the rest. Like the tips of the fingers, or the tip of his nose, or the tip of his hair. You know, as those typically are shinier anyways. This stuff, you could put alcohol in this stuff too to loosen it up if you're doing a large area, or if you really want to hit put a lot of silver back into whatever you're doing. Do these edges here, because the corners usually are the shiniest parts of anything. Get a little offset. And this is just a very, very light touch-up thing. I'm going to do the hair again, because I really have like a higher, glossier, higher, more metallic look to them. I know I'm overdoing the hair, but I really want this part to stick out in his nose, the fingertips. You'd be amazed at how much just a touch-up will make a difference. Now, all of this can be, I don't usually seal it, I don't find it necessary. It's not like other things, but you can give it a quick spray with a satin or a gloss, you know, plastic lacquer, like a Krylon. But I don't find it that necessary on these pieces. They don't really, I mean, you really have to go at it with a knife to scrape off the metal finish, and the touch-ups and stuff like that will cling to it, and it even doesn't come off after a while, after a couple hours. Even the shoe polish will dry totally and not be able to be rubbed off. So that's it. And I just fill up the back, put on the foam foot, the foam base, and she's ready to go out. And that's all it takes to make this particular piece. Now, we went from prototype, mold, to finished piece. Okay, and that's it for now, and see you on the next video.